Greetings, Divine Radiance. How are you today, this evening? So I'm going live. I literally look, my hair is all over the place. So we just gonna tidy up just a bit. But I am going live. I posted a video and it's actually still posting. It's uploading on my cell phone. Someone just hopped on. I don't know who you are, but whoever you are, leave a comment so I know who you are. But anyways, it is still uploading because I utilize my phone to record it and to upload it. I actually, after work today, I went and ran a couple of errands, had dinner, and then I just sit in my car to decompress, right? I sit in my car, talk to my sister, talk to my mama, and just literally just decompress. So today I was doing that. My parents were out and about, and my mom was like, "We could have came and got you." I was like, "Yeah, come get me." So hey, Janelle. So my bonus dad was like, "Where would y'all like to go?" I'm like, "Wherever," because sometimes we just drive around, like we just go exploring, and that's what we did tonight. And so we ended up downtown Knoxville, and this evening, as we're driving around, this gentleman, he stands up out of his wheelchair and he walks up to our car and he explained how he had just had surgery. I don't remember. I believe he said 3 weeks ago. And he asked, did we have 75 cents? I don't ever have cash on me. My parents gave some money. And then he thanked us, bless you, sent us on our way. So, we're driving around. My bonus dad don't really know where we're going. So we turn back, come the other way. Next thing we know, we see a police officer approaching the man. Next thing we know, we see another one, until there's 5 police officers, 5 police cars. They're all out of the vehicle and next to this man, right? And so oftentimes we see things like this and we just say things like, well, hopefully he's okay. Hopefully they don't kill him. I must pray for him, and we keep it going. And so my mom was like, babe, I feel like we let's make sure he's okay. And so my bonus dad was attempting to find a place to park. And so he was like, Keela, you getting out? And I was like, yeah. And my mom got out too. We walked over to them and my mom asked the gentleman if he was okay. That was the first thing. She said, are you okay? And he said, yeah, I'm okay. And the police officers were so rude. And I said, you just got to understand what the state of the world, why we would be checking to make sure he's okay. And when I tell you, they literally acted like there's nothing happening in the world that will warrant us checking to make sure he was okay, I was a little taken aback that, that was their stance. And I've talked about this in the first video that's still uploading. So if you watch the other one, some of this may be a reiteration. But as we drove home and I was reflecting on the conversation, right, there were a few things I noticed. The first thing I noticed was out of all 5 officers, there were 2 that were extremely rude. And I made note of that to them. And I said, you can ask nicely. You don't have to be rude. You can ask us nicely to back up, to step away. And so one that did say something to us nicely, we thanked him, right? And several times, we were letting them know, if you are not those officers that warrant us checking to make sure he is okay, we appreciate you. We're not saying all officers are the same, but what we're saying is we don't know, right? We're simply checking, standing here, showing support just to make sure he's fine, right? So anyways, what I noticed with the one who was polite, the more gratitude we showed for his respect, he started making these faces as if to say, I wasn't really, you know what I mean? I was, and then there was another officer who started off really rude, really combative, He actually made our point by saying when there's one of us and 4 people, we feel threatened. Now, it was just my mom and I at that point. My bonus dad didn't get out until after he found a park to make sure everything was good with us. And I said, that's the point. There's one of him. There's 5 of you, right? There's 5 of you. And you guys have guns and the law supports you killing folks and getting away with it. So then we go into the whole thing about people that are unarmed being killed. And he literally said, by law, they have a right legally to shoot people that have been deemed as committing a crime and violent, right? Now, of course, this is a bunch of malarkey. I don't doubt if it's a law, but let's just say if a person's back is turned or they're running, I even says, so what law warranted a knee in a neck and suffocating? You know what I mean? Like, let's have a respectful conversation. Let's gain some understanding here. Allow me to see your point of view, but be open to see mine, right? So, anyways, what I noticed with that officer was when the other officers walked away, that's when he stopped antagonizing us, right? Because that's what he was doing. And we're going to talk about that because after our process, Spirit pointed out little things that weren't mentioned in that first video. And I'm doing this because my phone's over there. And so, anyways, what I realized is they are, I'm hearing, putting on a show, right, in front of their fellow officers when it's just them. I'm not saying all, but what we noticed tonight were the two of them, they kind of acted a little bit different. And he made a comment about if it were a Black officer. And I said, well, no, Black officers kill folks too. Sometimes they're the worst kind because, listen, I'm just telling it like it is. Sometimes they're attempting to earn their stripes. And he's like, so they can be in the club. It was just so unprofessional, and that whole thing with them antagonizing. What I was being told to share is if we do have confrontations with the law, right? It's important for us to take note of the things that they do to provoke us, right? Because if we get irate and we get a certain way, oh, now they have a right to pull, and they done already said they got a right to kill. Even if they're not saying out of their mouth, they're showing us they have a right to kill and they'll get away with it, right? Or so they think, because as Spirit delivered today, there are laws that are beyond this realm, right? That when you commit the crime, you will do the time in one way, shape, or form. So someone posted in the United Light Beings Awakening group, she shared a video of her brother. She was sharing how her brother had gotten pulled over and they asked him, did he have a gun? And he said yes, but he had all the paperwork, the right to carry. And so they took his gun and they placed it in the seat of their car. Now they were in the South, it was hot. And the officers told her brother, oh, you can stick your head in the window to get some air, cool off, right? He said, no, I'm good. I'm good. Now, these officers were also very rude, right? Outside of that. So if this man had stuck his head in that window on the side where his gun was placed, they could easily say, oh, he went for his gun. Those cameras don't let us hear what they said. You know what I mean? It just looks like he went for his gun, so we killed him. So I was also being led to share that not only are they doing things, and when I say they, I don't mean all, because I don't believe in clumping a group in one group because they're a part of an organization or a part of a group. That's no different than racist people clumping every person that they're racist against or every group that they're racist against all together, right? But when I say they, I mean the ones that fall under this category, right? So anyways, not only are they antagonizing, they're doing things to set people up, right? And this just is what it is. It is what it is. And one of the things that Spirit shared with us earlier was our healing, right? Because the old me, it might have turned out a little bit different. It just might have, because I was fearless even then. But that fearlessness wasn't always channeled in a way where, or how it is now. But with that healing, you're able to, I'm hearing the word inject yourself and still be in that space of diffusing, right? Still be in that space of diffusing. But one of the things that Spirit said is, oftentimes we definitely complain about things. We speak about change, but we're not always willing to put ourselves on the front line for that change that we're seeking. Now, when I say this, if you're not that person that's called to do that, then there's no judgment. If you're not called, if Spirit doesn't move you, then don't do it because you feel like that's expected. But when you feel it in your spirit and you feel it in your soul and you feel called to do it, that's when you step into that fearlessness, that knowing the Spirit's got you and you do what you're being called to do. Because had we not stopped to make sure he was okay, That could have went a whole different way. And when I tell you, there were other people that were out there. This man had beautiful skin. He's sitting in a wheelchair. He's well dressed, right? You can tell he was under the influence. I don't know if it was alcohol. I don't know if it was pain meds. He said he had a rod all up his leg. You know what I mean? I don't know. But he was clearly under the influence, but he wasn't irate. He wasn't, you know what I mean? There were people that looked like they were probably about to break into a building or a car, but they were white. And we're just gonna call a spade a spade. Racism is real, it exists, right? So literally, when I decided to do this video in the car, there were so many things that I was feeling led to say. And right now, my heart just feels a little bit heavy. And I was in the car, my bonus dad kept saying, "Are you okay?" And I just said, "I'd like to do more." And Spirit said, "You're doing what you're called to do to make a difference." So when I first started this journey to assist others with their healing, right, it started from a place of me understanding the misery associated with not being healed. And once I healed, the joy and the power, that power that comes from feeling empowered, knowing who you are, accepting and loving who you are, forgiving those that have hurt you, that power is so overwhelmingly good that I just felt like everybody's got to feel this, right? And as I am connecting more, and Spirit and I have conversations about the state of the world all the time. I don't always use my platform to talk about it because I talk about what I'm guided to talk about, right? But what Spirit is saying is also through that healing, you're guided on how you can make a difference. And when you're guided, you have that fearlessness to do it because you know that you're protected. When Spirit brings you to it, Spirit is going to bring you through it. Spirit would not have had us get out of that car tonight if we were going to be murdered, right? If we were going to be thrown in jail, right? Or have harm come to us, right? And so this healing, it starts with being for us, but it expands out to the world. And when I tell you, the methods that we have been utilizing to create a change in this world, they have not worked. They have not worked. And they will not work until we heal, until we're able to hear the voice of the divine speak to us or feel the nudging of the divine nudging us, right? Or see signs from the divine guiding us, right? They will not work. And we're called to not do things out of ego, right? Because if we're doing things out of ego, then we're operating under the same vibrational frequency as the situations, the people, and the things we're choosing to shift. There's so many things that can be said, right? There's so many things that can be said. And there's so many people that feel like the world will not change. My sister and I were talking about that. The world will not change. There's going to always be this, right? This, whatever this is that we would all choose to have be shifted, right? And that's not true. It's not true. I tell you all the time, even if I'm not the person to help you heal, I don't care who it is. It could be the man in the moon. Whoever it is, it's time. It is time because we each have a role to play. And for a minute, I forgot what role I'm playing because in that moment, I truly felt like there's got to be more. There's got to be more that I can do. There's got to be more that I can do. And Spirit said, you're doing what you're called to do. So surrender and just keep doing what you're called to do. It's time for us to all step into what we're called to do. Spirit has been calling us. And I promise you, when you go through that process of healing and when you accept your calling, the rewards are beyond words. The feeling is beyond words. And here's the thing, when we speak of abundance, oftentimes we immediately associate it with money, right? We immediately associate it with money. But when I speak of abundance, yeah, I talk about the money because that's most often where a person's mind is focused on. But real abundance is that feeling of joy, that feeling of peace, that feeling of love and self-acceptance, right? That there's no greater feeling of security that compares to knowing that Spirit's got you, right? It's so funny. when my sister in light was here and my bonus dad was mimicking me, and and I'm laughing, and I was just about to say, don't forget spirit got me, but before I said it, he was like, spirit got me, because that's, you go into the world with that spirit. It's not to say you do reckless stuff. You're just guided, and you go into this world fearless, knowing that you're protected and you're shielded, and there's nothing that can harm you. Now, there are some light workers that they have agreed when their soul entered that their lives will be sacrificed. When Nipsey Hussle died, Spirit came to me. Spirit said it comes with the territory. Are you still up for the challenge, right? Because it's the truth. When you're speaking truth and you're shedding light and you're shifting perspectives and minds and lives and vibrations and frequencies in the world, it comes with the territory. But I've shared with you all, when I was a kid, and I was religious, right? Or striving to be. And I learned about, they taught us that there would come a time where you would be forced to worship Satan or you would be killed. And as a kid, a young kid, I decided that I would die before I worship Satan. I would die first. There's no way. I had that conviction as a child. And now that I'm living in the energy of truth, that same conviction is there. I will give my life for the light work that I do, right? There is no fear. There is no fear. And I know, oftentimes we joke and we play and we oftentimes keep it real lighthearted. The messages oftentimes are real lighthearted. But tonight I just got on to share with you because it's time. Something has to be done, right? And it starts with each one of us, starting with self. Let me see, because I realize you guys are saying something. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Zimpaki. Hi, Vanessa. Nell said you were there for a reason. Most likely you helped save him from something unnecessary. And you know what? That is something definitely that that we all believed. But the thing that really hurt my heart was just how, first of all, how rude they were. I mean, if you could have, just how rude they were. They just out the gate, just rude and disrespectful. And the fact that they were implying that there was no reason for concern, doing state of the world, like literally state of the world, literally, well, name them, who got shot. It was just ridiculous. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. But yeah. And so, you know what? After I sat there in the car with my parents, when we got back to my home and I said, you know what? I'm going to pray for him. I'm going to pray for him. Just like I shared earlier about how I prayed for my son's father, I'm going to pray for him. And when I say that, I'm not about to do no, bad juju or nothing like that. Nope. I'm not doing that. I'm just praying that they get what they give. What they give, they get. Right? Just pray for them. I'm just pray for them. I'm not going to put specific wishes or or wishes or, none of that. I'm just going to pray for them. I'm going to put my energy into praying for them. There's power in prayer. There's power in prayer. So, yeah, and I'm going to continue to send healing and love and light to the world as a collective. And I'm just going to continue to pray. It's like the way my protection is set up. It's a boomerang effect. What you give to me, you get. If you send me love and light, that's what you get. Love and light. If you send me something else, it bounces off of me, goes back to you. So yeah, let's just pray. Let's just pray for him. Let's just pray for him. Spirit is telling us to direct our energy in a way that allows us to remain empowered. Direct our energy in a way that allows us to remain empowered, right? Because had I gotten angry, right, which is what they were attempting to do, I'm telling you, if you could have just been there to feel and hear and see how they were treating us just for being concerned citizens. And literally by me saying, put yourself in our shoes, right? You got to understand why we're checking. And we even said, if you are not that officer and you are the officer that is doing your job, we appreciate you. We're not saying all of you are the same. The thing is, we just don't know. So it is our duty. I don't care if you black, yellow, purple, white, green, blue, glitter. It is our duty as human beings to make sure our fellow man, woman, child is okay. And if there's a predator amongst us, right, we have a duty to join forces. The guy literally came up to us after we were waiting across the street and he thanked us. And I said, we're on the same team. You're protected and shielded. And he said, yeah, I protected this country. It's just, I'm not going to ramble. I just, my heart was heavy and I just had a lot to say. And now as I'm here with you, there's really not much that's being said. But I would like to encourage you. Also, I had a talk with my son when I got in and I talked to him just about, me encouraging him to meditate and doing the things to strengthen himself spiritually because when I say the old me, it's like the old me, the unhealed me would have bit that bait of the attempting to make me angry, attempting to make me lose my cool, right? To be confrontational in a way that was void of peace, right? You can be confrontational, but if I'm returning peace, then what you gonna do? Fight with yourself, right? And like I told him, I'm having a conversation with you so that you can understand my perspective and I can understand yours, right? So, yeah. And you guys know I did that video it wasn't the other night. I believe it was last week, a couple of weeks ago when I stopped to eat some fries and the police pulled up and that experience was great, right? That experience was great. And I know that nothing happens by chance. Everything happens for a reason. And one of the things that Spirit was showing was the contrast because there are so many of us that are putting all officers in a category, right? And so Spirit allowed me to be used to show like, he was really nice. Like he even said, I'd rather you be here eating where it's safe than being on the road. Now he was nice. He was concerned for my well-being. He was doing his job. These men tonight, for lack of better terms, these boys in blue, nope. That was not why they were there. They were clearly, like I told them, you got to admit that the KKK has infiltrated the police force. There are a whole lot that are in the police force and abuse their power. Like we just got to call a spade a spade. We can't create shift if we're denying facts. We can't. As long as we deny that there's an issue, it's like our healing. We can't heal what we don't feel, right? We can't heal what we don't feel. A lot of us, we bury it, right? We just sweep it under. We keep going in spite of, and we don't take the time out to actually heal it. So we can't to feel it. So we can't heal it, right? It's still there. It doesn't go anywhere, right? And that's a lot of what's happening in the world. But remember, Spirit keeps tying in our healing journey to the shift that we're called to create. Right? So the way we oftentimes do with our pains, our traumas, I was there. I used to be like, oh, I wasn't affected. I shared that on Wednesday. I wasn't affected because to me, that made me weak. So because I was denying that I was even affected, I couldn't heal it. The moment I started to allow myself to accept, yeah, I was affected and it doesn't make me weak. I was able to feel it. I was able to heal it. Right? And to deny that there is an issue in and of itself, So yeah, Vanessa said, I think it's demonic alien beings hijacking short or long term those people who try to provoke anger out of healers, light workers, loving spirits. And same with people who bring KKK mentality and behavior. And it's true. It's true. Oh, thank you, Janelle. Thank you so much. But it's true. It's like there are so many things that are happening in this world that to the average mind or the average person, and when I say that, I mean us before we have healed, us before we are seeing beneath the veil, right? And not just like in the form of spirit like seeing spirits or being connected to divine energy of light and love. What I mean is there are so many things in this world that are beyond what we have been taught to comprehend. So when we hear things like what Vanessa just said, it feels strange to some, right? But that is so on point. You know what I mean? It is not strange at all, right? It is not strange at all. There are forces, and this is why Spirit has been stressing the protection, right? Because there are forces that are here in the energetic realm that are just waiting to attach to a host. And it's not just people that pledge their allegiance to those demonic forces, right? Because yeah, you're good, you're good. But if you have pledged your allegiance to me already, then all right, you go on over there and let me go ahead and direct you. But I'm after the ones that have pledged their allegiance to the light, because those are the ones that are a threat to me, right? So this is why Spirit has been stressing our protection, because we don't have to just welcome these energies in for them to attach, right? If we have our guards down, meaning we're not protecting ourselves daily, we're sitting ducks, right? We're sitting ducks. So Spirit literally has been pressing that message, like beating it into us, like with a nice little fluffy bat, of course, but still that same message, so that we are protecting. I shared this with you all before, how I was in San Diego. It's the year that I went to Speak and Write. And my uncle at the time still lived in Los Angeles. And I was going to see him. And my uncle had just came back from China, him and his husband. And he was sick. And so he said, do you mind if I put you on the train and, and you take the train here and I'll pick you up? I was like, no, of course. Oh my gosh, it was a beautiful ride along the coast. I love the ocean. So it was amazing. But there was a woman who got on. And usually the old me, the unhealed me, would have seen her. I wouldn't have made eye contact because she was dirty. And I used to be a germaphobe and, ooh, don't touch me. Don't sit next to me. But the healed me is like, I could wash my hands. I can wash my clothes. I could wash whatever, right? And so anyways, I'm pulling cards for myself as I'm on this train. And then she said something to me and we were talking. And the more I spoke to that woman, the more I realized what was going on with her, and Spirit opened my eyes to another level of where we classify people as having mental illnesses, right? Yes, there are some people that have chemical imbalances. Yes, there are some people that have medical issues that are mental, right? But there are a lot of people out there that are spiritually gifted that fail to protect themselves, that are now being tortured because there are energies attached to them. And that woman was one of them. I gave her a piece of selenite that I had with me because I, would carry it in my bra, and I have a piece in my car. I have a piece in my, I just carry crystals, different ways to protect. And so anyway, she's like, I know what this is, but the more we talk, like she even was like, people are so unhappy. Like they pretend like they're happy, but when I look at them, I can see that they're not. And it was just so wise, some of the things that she was saying. And she even talked about the feeling of being tortured. And it was just like, she's not crazy, she's not crazy. She just didn't protect herself, right? She was dabbling in spirituality and she was not protecting herself. So yeah, it's important. It's really important that we protect ourselves. It really is. It really is. But yeah, yeah. And the thing that Spirit is having me tell you that, when these messages come through for us, don't be afraid, right? Fear and power cannot exist in the same host. We're the host. It can't exist together, right? It just can't. I'm choosing power. I'm not afraid of anything except heights. Except heights. And I'm even pushing through that, okay? It's funny because I said, when I healed, all those other fears left, but height, that was never a fear at first. And there's two we're born with. We're born with the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling, right? Falling. And so now that I realize that as a fear that has become present, I do things to push through, just because I refuse to let it overtake me, right? I refuse to let it overtake me. So what Spirit is just telling us is not to be afraid, just to choose to do what we can to elevate our own energies, to elevate our own minds, to elevate spiritually, and then make sure that we're loving ourselves enough to protect ourselves physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, right? Mentally. Hi, Asia. Hi, hi, hi. But Empress Daisy said, "Wow, I just came here from your last video. Shows that you handled yourself well with those cops. Thank you so much." And I credit Spirit, right? I credit Spirit, um, just for keeping me in a zone, right? For keeping me in a zone, because, like I said, the old me, oh, it would have went real different. I just don't know what would have happened, but I'm grateful that that I am where I am today, and I'll continue to do that. When Spirit guides me, I'll continue to stop, even if I'm by myself, because I'm never by myself. We're never by ourselves, right? Never by ourselves. I mean, even if my mom and my bonus dad weren't with me, I'm going to continue to do that, right? Because sometimes we can bring protection in a situation. That man may not know the first thing about spiritually protecting, but when those protective angels walk with us, wherever we are, they are, right? And so whatever is going on in that situation, everyone involved, right, is feeling that protection. So we're never alone. We're never alone. Bless you, honey. So yeah. So what I would say, my bless you, baby. My recommendation is, if you are not ready to begin healing, right, in a deep way, start meditating every day, every single day. If you are not meditating every day, start. Because, meditation, it is so powerful with helping you stay in that place of peace, helping you stay in that place of calm, helping you connect to the divine, right? Helping you connect to your spiritual gifts and the ability to be guided, right? And so if you're not doing anything else, meditate and protect. Meditate and protect and pray, right? Because they go hand in hand. That's like today on the video that Spirit led me to record this earlier today, about the Breonna Taylor verdict. There was someone who commented on it, and they left these Bible verses, and at the end they said if she had did what God said, she wouldn't have died or something. I'm not going to judge it, something like that. And my thing is, how do you know that she wasn't called to be in that person's life, to plant seeds in their life, and that it wasn't a part of her journey for her life to be taken the way it was, so that it can contribute to a greater cause, right? We don't know. We can't judge. God ain't running around killing folks because they're exercising their free will, right? That face, that's me judging. That's ridiculous face. And so my mom was like, I said, I didn't respond. My mom said, "Are you?" I said, "Let me check in with Spirit." Spirit said, "No. Nope." Because, it's one thing when you respond to someone that has a different opinion, but they are open, right? They're open to hearing you, and they're open to allowing themselves to feel if your point of view makes sense. There's a difference between conversing with people like that and a person who is just set in their ways and closed to anything that is outside of their view, right? So this is, again, another way for us to utilize our energy, right, in the best way possible, allowing Spirit to guide you. I used to debate with folks and I used to do all that, but not anymore. I'm preserving my energy for those of you that are seeking it and calling on me to serve you. I'm not giving my energy away to people that's just going to drain me, right? So Spirit is saying to just be guided even in who you respond to. You don't have to show up to every fight. That's what those officers were doing today. They were attempting to start a fight, but it's 5 of y'all with guns, and my gun is at home because I haven't taken the test to have a permit to carry, right? So we ain't about to fight. I'm going to let Spirit handle you. But yeah. But yeah. Cheryl said, we definitely not by ourselves. No, Cheryl said those cops must be unhappy. Yeah, it's just sad, and one of the things that is really sad is when you're oblivious. Either you're oblivious. I don't know how many of you have seen Boys in the Hood, but when Ice Cube was saying that either they don't know or they don't care, right? And those are the two things. They either don't know or they don't care, right? And in this time, there's no excuse not to know. I don't watch the news. Even I know what's going on. You know what I mean? And if you're in that type of position, that's a part of your job to know. It's a part of your job to know, because just like we're called to show up in love, light, and compassion as light workers, well, that position that you're in and the way you are portraying it to be, it requires you to have the same, right? But here's the thing, back in the day in history, police were not there to protect and serve. They were slave catchers, right? And one of the things that spirit gave me on one of my walks was, when we talk about the root of trauma, right? We talk about the root of trauma. And I was talking to my sister the other night, explaining how the experiences I had when I did timeline regression therapy, right? And just the things that I experienced through my lifetime and how I was placed right there in those experiences and feeling them, right? And so, anyways, as we were talking about that, I was telling her how spirit had told me that oftentimes we seek to heal the trauma that we've experienced in this lifetime, or even traumas that we've experienced in past lifetimes. But there are traumas that we are not addressing, and that is the trauma from slavery, right? There are so many of us that are still existing in a way that is a direct reflection of the traumas that were passed down from slavery, the ways of thinking, the ways of believing and behaving, right? The ways we treat ourselves, our children, right? Our brothers and our sisters, the world, right? Like, these are real traumas that exist, but we're not addressing them. So one of the services when the website is done that I'll be providing is to help heal that trauma, right? Because it's real. And when we look at individuals, right? Sometimes we can't really understand why they're behaving the way they behave, or they make the decisions that they make. Well, oftentimes they're operating from a place of trauma. So when I encounter people, right, and I feel their energy, I'm able to release feelings of anger or judgment, because I say that's just their trauma, right? That's just their trauma. Now, there's a different response to people that are choosing to dwell in an evil energy, right? Like tonight, those men were choosing to dwell in an evil energy. There's a difference between people like that, because it's real. Just like there are those of us that choose to dwell in the energy of the light, there are people that choose to dwell in the energy of evil, right? So there is a difference. Will I let them take me out of my peace? No, but there's a difference, right? So, anyways, that's something that helps me, is just to recognize when people are behaving and responding and reacting from their trauma. But, anyways, yeah, that was something that spirit gave to me, because it's a real thing, And this is another thing, as you go through your journey and you connect, spirit will guide you on it all, right? Like that question, how can we make a difference? And I'm just going to continue, just like I would tell spirit, to allow me to be the best version of me, to allow me to serve those I'm called to serve and make a difference in their lives beyond their expectations. I am now adding every day, how can I make a difference? How can I make a difference for this subject specifically? You know, for this subject specifically, a lot of times I'm so connected with the work that I do, and I'm so connected with the way that I serve, that I don't always allow myself to feel the emotions behind this particular topic. There's times I'll see something and I'll literally cry, because although although I know that what I'm doing is making a difference, at times there's still this feeling of hopelessness, powerlessness, right? When you're seeing it, and you're feeling the pain of those that are losing family members, right? Or those that are being harassed, like I can feel their pain, right? And that's one of the reasons why I don't allow myself in that energy very often, right? And when I'm there, I go ahead, I cry, I release it, right? But just to ask spirit, what can I do? What more can I do? Show me. I'm ready to do more. Whatever you guide me to do, I'm willing to do. And if you too are someone that feels like I'm willing to do more, just start telling spirit and start asking, how can I do more? And when you're guided, just have the courage to do it, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. So don't question your abilities. Don't question your protection. Don't question your strength. Don't question your guidance, you know? So yeah. Yeah. So how are you all doing tonight? And do you have any feedback, or do you have, anything that's coming through for you that you would like to share with me or anyone that may watch this video or who's on with us now? Any messages coming through for you from spirit that can add to what's going on? Anything coming from your soul, that can add to the positive shift? And the other thing is, whenever you encounter any sort of energy like that, or an experience like that, make sure you cleanse and then reprotect, right? Because it's not enough to just protect before you cleanse, because then you're just cleansing and sealing in all that stuff, right? So it's important to cleanse, then, cleanse, release, then seal and protect. So, hey, Naya, how are you? How are you? So yeah, real king. Hey sis, I see you keep being right. Don't go to sleep. I'll call you when you get up. Oh, I'm like, who is real king? It's my brother, y'all. My god brother. We are two fish in a pond, like two peas in a pod. Zempaki said, just processing, feeling sad, light crying, had a spiritual love bath and burned some incense. Yeah. It is really and as I'm connecting to what I'm feeling, it's one of those things where it's like that feeling of having it now, right? Having it changed now. And that's the human part of me, right? And the other part of me knows that everything happens in divine order. Everything happens according to divine timing. Everything has a purpose, right? So although my desire is to have it now, right? Spirit is saying, but you do understand that there is method to the madness. And even when we don't always understand that method or see that method, we're just being called to trust that there's a purpose in it all, right? There's a purpose in it all. And what I'm being told is it's one step at a time. It's us just one step at a time doing what we're called to do, right? So Naya said, yes, something that came through for me is that I feel like I'm not doing enough. Spirit said I can send Reiki healing light worker on front lines. So let it be. Yes. And so it is. And so it is. And yeah, and that is, I've done that energy, right, around that, energetically, because here's the thing. This battle, right? This battle, Spirit said, don't even call it a fight. This battle, it is more energetic than anything else. And that's the one thing that Spirit would like us to understand. It is more energetic than anything else. And if we can understand that the anger, the sadness, the fear, the hopelessness, right? The fight, right? That lowers our vibration, and that lowering of our vibration takes our power away. Then we'll begin to understand why the world is designed the way it is. Why is the world designed the way it is for us to have a front row seat of all of these things happening? Why are these things happening in and of itself? Why are things designed the way they are? Because when we are in that energy, we are out of our power. We can't be in both. We can't be in that energy and in our power. But when we're in our power, we're able to assess, we're able to feel, because we're still human beings with feelings, but then we're able to remain in our power and be guided. And I know this came through before, but Spirit is saying it again because it's time for us to really get that. Some of us, we kind of get it, we maybe get it, we sometimes get it. But Spirit is saying it's time for us to dig deep in those places within until we get it, right? This is an energetic battle. And we're not fighting or battling energetically, right? We're just not. We're just not. So, yeah. What I'm being told and what I'm seeing is a coin. And Spirit said, oftentimes we're just the other side of the same coin. We're just the other side of the same coin. Whether we claim heads or tails, it's still the same coin. And Spirit is saying energetically, that's how we're showing up, right? That's how we're showing up. But when we can stay in that love and light energy, and we can stay in that respect energy, even if you haven't earned it, even if you don't deserve it, I'm giving you what I give to me. It's not even about what I expect from you, because I don't expect anything from you. It's about giving you what I give to me, showing up in the world the way I show up for myself, right? That's what it's about. It's all about this, you and me, right? It's about you for you and me for me. When I start to shift all up in here and I start to shine all bright, that brightness not going to stay up in here. When that brightness comes out, I could be walking down a pitch black street and they going to feel this light. They going to see this light. Oh, their eyes are going to be open with this light. They're going to be seeing all around them with this light, right? And so Spirit is saying that's the effect that we're called to have. We focus on getting our light in order, changing our bulb, right? And then that light gets warm and all the coldness in the world. Oh, I'm so warm. I'm hot. When I walk past, not only am I shining, but I'm about to warm your cold heart, right? So that's what Spirit is saying, that it's time for us to really start understanding it's energetic. It is, it's energetic. So, does anybody else have anything that's coming through that you'd like to share? Yeah. And I'm just sending protection, love, and light to all of you and your families, And even like I told the officer, I said, I'm not just saying that black folks are the only one getting killed. It's a whole lot of white people getting killed too. But they don't show us that, y'all. They don't show us that. Why? Let's create a race war. Let's create racism, right? Let's create more of it, right? There's plenty of white people that's getting murdered for no reason. But we're going to highlight one group of people so we can turn them all against each other and have them fighting each other in this low vibrating energy, right? This low vibrating energy. So, yeah, Spirit is just saying for us to be mindful of the traps. Be mindful of the traps. Naya said, Cheryl, I feel you. Cheryl said, sometimes I wonder if this is just one big crazy dream. Cheryl said, I'm so serious. And it's a real illusion. That's what it is. It is a real illusion. Like illusion. We are literally living in this experience, right? We're here. We're pinch myself. I'm here, right? You're here. It's a real illusion though, because mostly everything that we see, mostly everything that we feel, mostly everything that we believed. It's like the Truman Show. Wasn't that what y'all told me that movie was called when I was describing it? How he was living this life and didn't realize that it was all fabricated. And, they had been watching him from birth, I believe it was, with, what's his name? Jim Carrey. So, yeah, it's real, but it's an illusion at the same time. So Spirit is saying that's why that message of us seeing beneath the veil, beneath it, above it, around it, within it, right? That's what happens when we connect to our divinity and our gifts. Like we have the ability to see truth, right? And when we don't see it, all we got to do is ask and Spirit's going to show it to us. We may not just see it on our own, but that whole seek and you shall find. Oh yeah, once we seek and we're connected, Spirit will show us. There's nothing that can get past Spirit. So when you connected, there's nothing that can get past you, right? This is why Spirit is saying to stop doubting our gifts, to stop doubting our intuition, to stop doubting the messages, right? We can't be in that place of nothing can get past us when we're still doubting, right? So practice not doubting. When you get it, that first thing I was always taught growing up, follow your first mind and you won't go wrong. Follow your first mind, whatever it is, the first thing that comes to you without thought, right? Without thought. The first thing, that's the thing you follow. And then as you follow it without questioning it or second guessing it, what you'll find is, oh, I can depend on that. I can trust it. Oh, I am being guided, right? You always being guided. It's just, are you trusting it? Are you following it, right? So, yeah. Cheryl said I ought to check that movie out. Where is the creator in all of this? Well, Cheryl, you know, I just heard the creators within us, the creators within us, right? The creators within us, and it's just kind of weird to comprehend this journey that we're on, right? We come to this world and we have these human experiences. We come here with that spiritual amnesia, right? We experience these traumas only to heal, to elevate, to reawaken, to remember, and then help the world evolve, shift, and do the same, right? Help others. And it's a little, when you really attempt to wrap your mind around it, it really is a little mind boggling as to why, why, why. And I'm just going to ask Spirit right now to reveal that, the why, why. Because I haven't been told the why, I've just been told the what, the what is. But with that one, the why, I haven't received that yet, I haven't received it yet. So I just heard dual forces, duality. So I just heard the mission is to save, the mission is to heal. That makes sense. Thank you. So what Spirit just said was, just like we talked about those dual energies, how there are energies and forces that are of love and light. There are energies and forces that are of the divine. There are also energy and forces that are of evil, right? And just as duality exists within us, duality exists within these energies, right? So where there is light, there is evil, right? Where there is light, there is evil, right? So with that being said, we have incarnated to come here and to, I'm hearing, battle those energies and even the playing field, right? I'm hearing those energies have taken over. They have programmed, they have disempowered, they have disconnected people, divine beings, from themselves and from the real world. So we were placed here, I'm hearing, to reenact what once was. And when they're saying reenact what once was, what they're saying was when we lived in that time where the vibe was high, we were elevated spiritually, mentally, emotionally, right? And they're showing me it's not so much in the human form that we were there. It's more like in the form of just existing, right? So Spirit said that's the why. That's the why. To create that balance, right? To create that balance. And what I'm hearing is it's not so much that those dual energies are winning. It's not that. It's just that there's so many of us that have forgotten. And so that's why it requires each of us to help each other remember, right? To help each other remember. So thank you for asking that question, Cheryl, because I've never asked it. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Naya said, I wonder if the creator is in our human designs, like the mind, body, and soul. Naya said, Cheryl, I asked my guides if there was an soul resources like human resource. Of course, they said no, LOL. Cheryl said, I can't believe I opted to come here and deal with this crazy shit. Excuse the cuss word, but it seems fitting. Here's the thing. It's just like tonight, right? When we stopped and made sure he was okay. Even knowing the reason why we're making sure he's okay is because the police are killing people, right? So even knowing that the police are killing people, and if they will kill the people they've been killing, why would they not kill me, right? Even knowing that, we still got out to make sure he was okay and to make a difference. And it's the same with our souls. Our souls agree for that same reason, right? That was our souls guiding us, right? That was spirit guiding us. So our souls agreed to come here for the same reason. We see our brothers and sisters that incarnated, right? And they in this energy, and it's like, okay, they done forgot and they're asleep and they haven't chosen to be the ones that are the light bearers, the light bringers, right? So it's time for you to wake them up so that they get some seeds. So the next go round, when they did agree to wake up and be the ones that are the light bringers, the light, right? So this is the cycle, right? There are a chosen few, I'm hearing in each lifetime, that are chosen to be the soul shifters, the waking up folk, right? And then there are some people that will not step into their gifts or their light fully in this lifetime. But because we carry cellular memory, those seeds that are planted are with them. So maybe the next lifetime they get more seeds and the next more. And then next thing you know, they are the ones that are chosen. When I say chosen, I mean the ones that agreed, right? And that's the cycle, right? That's the cycle. So that's why Cheryl said they knew what you were talking about. They were just being asses. Yeah, I mean, literally, when he started saying names, it's just like, really, bro, we doing this? Because I'm not here to fight with you or argue with you, And I just calmly, you know, I'm listening to you so I can understand you, and I would appreciate if you listen to me so you can understand me. You know, it's just, hmm, it's just sad and pathetic. But as long as we continue to do our part, I'm hearing that song playing, "A Change Gonna Come." Spirit is saying a change is occurring. A change is occurring. So, yeah, yeah. Yep, a change is occurring. So, Naya said, I swear, Nahkila, Black people being murdered by the cops are being sacrificed to initiate the race. Are you saying race wars or race was? There have been so many catalysts, right? So, sure, when Naya said soul resources, like how there's human resources when something's happening, or is there a sector like that for the soul? That's what Naya was saying. Yeah, yeah. And the thing that Spirit has told me is it's the whole distraction piece, right? I told you guys before how I had watched this documentary, and to this day I cannot remember the name of it. I have no idea, but I remember watching, and I remember that is the first time that realization hit, that this is a battle of good and evil, and it has been going on since BC, right? It has been going on since the beginning of time. And when that hit me, I saw the world in a whole different perspective. And this was before I began my conscious healing journey, right? Saw the world in a whole different perspective. That's really what it is, right? And we've had this talk. There's racism, there's sexism, there's classism, there's all these isms. And these are distractions, right? To take away from the bigger picture that really all it's about is good versus evil. That is the battle that we are in. And it manifests in the form of these distractions. Because if I'm so focused on race wars, or I'm so focused on rights for women, or I'm so focused on making sure the rich and the poor have equal opportunities, right? And when I say so focused, I mean so focused to the point where I am unable to understand and recognize the battle where the root of it is, which is good versus evil, right? Well, now I'm fighting a battle that I have no real understanding of, right? And now I'm bringing pebbles to a cannon fight. There's no way. There's no way, right? So Spirit is telling us to be mindful of what the root of it is. And again, we can always mimic the things that Spirit are telling us for ourselves, or not mimic, but we can always, it mimics. We can always compare the journey of self, right, to the world. So Spirit is always telling us to get to the root, right? Heal it at the root. That's how you create true and lasting change in ourselves, right? If I'm just doing surface stuff on my healing journey, putting a band-aid on it, right? Addressing one topic, but I'm not addressing the root cause, there's only so much I'm doing, right? But when I get to the root, that's when that lasting change happens. So, yeah. Cheryl said my phone is at 92% and the time is 11:11. Spirit is just letting us know, right? We are being reminded. Thank you, Cheryl, for sharing that, because that's something else that was coming through when I shared with you guys about the difference in, I was searching for a doctor, looking for a doctor versus finding a doctor for my son. And Spirit was saying that we are in our power right now. Like, we are really in a very powerful energy. And this is another reason why there's so many things happening to take us out of our power, because right now we are instantly manifesting. So through those numbers, Spirit had you share that so that I could share this. We're being called to be mindful of our thoughts. We're being called to be mindful of our words. We're being called to be mindful of our emotions. Spirit is never telling us not to feel them. Spirit is just saying, don't waddle there, right? Don't waddle there, because we are in a very powerful position. So if we all come together every day and we send Reiki, healing, love, and light to the world. And when I say Reiki, you do not have to be Reiki certified. You can connect to highest light and love, the divine of highest light and love, and you can send healing, love, and light energy, right? Be that channel to do so. When we start praying, right, shielding those that are being targeted. And I don't just mean Black people, I just mean anyone who is being targeted, right? When we start shielding them with the same protection that we shield ourselves in, that boomerang effect, right? We'll start to see more things happening, because again, Spirit said this is energetic. Protesting don't work. Rioting don't work. The stuff we've been doing for years does not work. It don't work. Fighting fire with fire doesn't work. Our power comes from our peace. Our power comes from our love. Our power comes from our light. Our power comes from our guidance from the divine. Our power comes from our healing, right? It's energetic. It's energetic. So, hey, Natalie. Hey, hey, hey. Cheryl said, do you think we shift realities? We definitely do. We definitely do. We do. And those numbers that you shared was Spirit reminding us that we do, right? Natalie, you just got on, but I don't know if you saw the oh, and I said, hey, sis, I didn't know you were live. Yes, I had shared a video. We just, we were out and about. We just went downtown Knoxville, and there was a man there. Long story short, 5 police officers surrounded him, and we got out to make sure he was okay. So I recorded a video earlier and shared that, and now I was getting on. This was like the video after I felt and processed my emotions centered around what had just happened. So yeah, yeah. So if you feel led to watch it, it's the video that I uploaded right before I went live. So yeah. Now I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to watch the video, then the replay. Okay, awesome, awesome. But yeah, I said, sending you love. I hope you're all right. Yeah, I appreciate it. And yeah, we're good. I'm good. Just processing, and felt led to get on and share. So yeah. Yeah, it aligns with a lot of discussions that we've had. hmm So, yeah. Well, there's nothing else that's coming through. Um, Now I said I just got on to go live. Call me if you'd like to talk. And I love you. I love you too. I love you too. And I appreciate you. So yeah, I'm just, as we close this live, one of the things that Spirit is telling me to tell you to do is to just be fearless and courageous enough to create that shift within you. Spirit is saying, just start there. Just start there. Because when you start there, everything else will unfold. Everything else will follow according to divine timing and divine order. Spirit is saying, start there. We don't have to look at, how can I save the world? Because sometimes when we look at things on a grander scale, it can feel overwhelming, right? It can feel overwhelming. But when we take those baby steps and we start right there with self, right? And we'll get that next step, that next step. Next thing we know, we're serving in a way that does create change and shift in the world. But it really starts with us. I know that keeps coming through, but Spirit keeps telling me to say it, so I'm going to keep saying it. It really does. And, listen to that song by Danabelle Hall, Ordinary People. Listen, that song makes me cry all the time. But listen to those words, listen to the lyrics. They have it on YouTube. It's called Ordinary People by Danabelle Hall. And literally it's just reminding us that God chooses ordinary people, right? Ordinary people like you and me, right? Who are willing, right? Ordinary people, right? Just ordinary people. And us and our little ordinary selves can make a huge difference. So, yeah, you're so welcome. So welcome, Vanessa. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Cheryl said, well, I need to talk to my higher self and find out how to shift my reality to a more positive one. Well, cancel delete need. It serves your highest good and you're choosing it, right? Just have conversations. I kind of chuckle because I have conversations. I mean, y'all be seeing me on Empower Hour, how I talk to them. Y'all think I just talk to them like that when y'all on with me? Can you imagine how I talk to them when I'm by myself? Oh, we have conversations, Again, what do they do when you talk to yourself? They label you crazy. I ain't talking to myself in and of myself. I'm talking to my higher self. I'm talking to my spirit self. And I'm talking to all my guides, my ancestors, and ascended masters and angels and helpful companions of light and love that are here with me. You just can't see them. I can. Now I'm crazy? Says who? you know? So, yeah. Yeah. Peel back the layers is what I'm hearing. Peel back the layers, expose the truth. Peel back the layers, expose the truth. And Spirit is saying this is a double message, peeling back the layers of self, exposing the truth within. Peeling back the layers of self, exposing the truth, being exposed to the truth around, right? Peel back the layers, expose the truth. Peeling back the layers of everything we've been taught, expose the truth, right? Yeah, yeah. So, yes, Cheryl, serve your highest good. Well, I love you all so much for being you and for allowing me to serve you and for being here. Your energy has uplifted me and my energy, it's actually made me feel better. Knowing that together we're able to make a difference, knowing that together we are making a difference, we're choosing it and we're doing it, So I appreciate you because y'all could be doing anything else, but you're sitting right here with me. So thank you. Thank you for holding space. Thank you. So, yes. Oh, you are so welcome, Janelle. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And Spirit is also telling us to support one another, right? Support one another. You know, um, there's no room for jealousy, there's no room for payback, right? Like all these things, all these ways that we've been taught to be and behave and believe. Spirit is just saying, let it go. Just start from scratch, like peel back the layers and expose your true nature. Get to the core of who you really are, right? So that's all I got. I thank you. And I leave you with peace, love, bliss, and abundance. And I'm sending you lots of love and lots of light. Have a good rest of your night and an incredible weekend.